Hi, in this video I'll be going through my method of solving the 3x3x5. And before you watch this video, I recommend that you watch either JRcuber's or JRcuber's 3x3x5 tutorial first. And this because I actually learned cuboids from JRcuber, but I made a few changes to the method which result in the method I use today, which I personally think is a faster method, but it's a bit more difficult to learn, sort of like the beginner method versus C-Fob. So I would recommend learning the beginner method first, and I wouldn't really call my method advanced, but it's kind of intermediate. So first I'll go through the structure of the 3x3x5. So the middle 3 layers will function like a normal 3x3, whereas the outer 2 layers will function like a 3x3x2. One thing is, when you start scrambling this like a 3x3, these two pieces will bandage together and you will not be able to separate them anymore. So when you do a 3x3x5 scramble, there's usually a cuboid scramble first, where you just mess around only with the colors, and then you will start with the shape shifting moves, which will start to mess with the shape. And as for solving, it is the same thing, just that it is in reverse. So we'll solve the shape first, then the color. So if you have watched JRcuber's video, he actually solved the entire shape plus one middle layer first as his first step, and then he solves two individual sets of 3x3x2. So these two layers here, he solved it as though it's a 3x3x2. Outer two layers, he solved it like a second 3x3x2. But what I'm going to do is, during the first step where I solve the shape, I will just apply a full 3x3 method, which in this case I will just use C-Fob, and then I will solve all three middle layers together. And then I only have one set of 3x3x2, which again, the method I use to solve the 3x3x2 is slightly different. So the first step of solving the 3x3x5 is the 3x3 stage. On a 3x3 you can solve on any cross color you like, but on a 3x3x5 you can only pick one out of two options, which are the extended faces. So on 3x3 I solve red cross, that's why I stickered red as one of the extended faces. On 3x3 I will just look for like red and green, for example, and then I'll match it into its correct place. But on the 3x3x5 I cannot rely on the top sticker anymore, because I've scrambled the 3x3x2 and now these two pieces no longer match with each other. However, there is one thing you can pay attention to, which is red and orange are the two extended faces. So instead of looking for, let's say, red green like I cited earlier, I look for extension green. I basically just replace red with the extension. So this is green and this is one is the extension. So this is sort of already in the correct place. I just slot it into the red side. So I'll just look for another one. This is blue with an extension, so I'll do it to blue. And then this is yellow with an extension, so I'll insert this on yellow. And this is white with an extension, I'll insert it on white. Okay, what you have noticed here is, at first this looks easier than a normal 3x3, because here I only have one choice. I have red and yellow. On the cuboid, the red and the yellow and the orange and yellow are interchangeable, and you can just randomly insert one of them and it will work. But then throughout the rest of the solve, this so-called interchangeability of the red and the orange color will take revenge on you. This is red, blue and white, and this is orange, blue and white, and only one will fit, the other one will not. On the cube, this is not a problem, because you can just flush away the entire orange color during the F2L and just focus on red. On the cuboid, now all the red and orange stickers are gone, and you cannot rely on this, because like I said earlier, you scrambled the 3x3x2. So you have to use alternative ways to recognize which piece is going to be correct and which piece is going to be wrong. Of course, you can just randomly try to insert one and see whether it matches or not. But the more you solve cuboids, the more experienced you become, and you will start to learn some patterns that will tell you which F2L pair can be inserted correctly and which pair will not. So I will just go through some examples. So I've made an F2L pair here, and how I know this is correct is, for example, let's say this F2L pair is pointing towards the slot that I want to insert in. This is green and white, and I want to insert it between green and white. So it's pointing towards the slot, and this color will match. And then you know it's correct. So if you get one that's pointing towards the slot, but these two are white and these two are green, you know that's wrong. Likewise, if your F12 pair is pointing away from the slot, so now the slot is here and is facing this way, then the two colors must not match. So if these two are white and they match with this white here, then it means that this will not fit in. And if you have an extended piece that's facing up, sort of like this red one and this orange one here, you know that if it totally matches, it means that it belongs to orange, and then if it doesn't match at all, it belongs to red. So likewise on the cuboid, if I see that this blue and yellow that I want to insert down here, it matches on the two sides, but the piece is facing up, it means that this is the wrong one and it will not match. Whereas like if you know that this one is wrong and you see another one of the same color, is obviously the correct one. So I know that this one is correct, and I can just solve with this as the corner and this as the edge. Sometimes you can take advantage of the top sticker of the extended piece. There are quite a lot of ways to do so, but I'll just show you one of them, which is this is an orange sticker here, and then we look at the two sides. You know, this one match and this one, the color mismatch, which you know this is not possible on the normal 3x3. This piece does not match with this at all. So we know that this doesn't belong to orange, it belongs to red. So it's the correct edge, and you can just insert it. For OL, this is basically the same as on the 3x3, except some of the finger tricks are going to be a lot more difficult because of the shape shifting. So sometimes it's just better to use two look. And this particular PL, does it look familiar? Okay, this is the Q-perm, which is a Parity PL. So what happens is, because red and orange are now interchangeable, you can actually end up with a situation like that, where on the 3x3x5 you won't know, because let's say these two stickers are going to be the same and you can just interchange them. So let's say you have these two interchange and what is left is a PL parity. So how do we solve this parity? We basically take advantage of the fact that they can be interchanged. So for example, these two are the same, so you can turn only the U layer, you don't have the cube rotate. But you must make sure the two pieces on the left side are the same color. And then you do the following algorithm, which is S, H perm, S prime. And then now I have a V perm, which actually on the 4x4, I wouldn't do that. I will actually hold these two on the side and do the Y perm first and then do the parity. You can do it here if you want. Just make sure like whenever you do the parity out, which is S, H perm, S prime, you must have the two on the right, they are the same. And then the rest of PL is basically the same as a 3x3 as well. Sometimes, just like OL, you may want to use two look because the finger tricks are a bit harder. So at this point, you will be done with the main 3x3 segment, and you can proceed to solving the top and the bottom layers like a 3x3x2. But there is one thing that you have to pay attention to, which is when you insert pieces. For example, let's say I want to put this red and blue edge to the bottom layer, you cannot just directly insert like you can on the 3x3x2, because it will mess up the inner layer. So whenever you want to insert something to the bottom layer, what you must always do first is to move it out of the way, then you destroy the inner layer, but at the same time you bring the bottom slot to the top. So you now can move this piece into that slot, and then you repair the inner layer, and the piece is inserted at the bottom. So my method for solving a 3x3x2 is mostly inspired by the ZZ method for the 3x3, except that EO doesn't exist because you cannot flip a single edge around. So basically, instead of doing EO line, you just do a line, and then you use RUL moves to solve the two side blocks. So the first step, my so-called EO-less ZZ, will be to make the line. So I have the green and the blue edges here. And to make my line, I just move this one away, put this opposite, and then bring it down. And then now I have a line, and then I'll match it with the corresponding colors. And the rest will be RUL moves, and it can be quite intuitively done. So I will just go for the two side blocks. In this case, I see that these two whites are already paired up, so that's nice. So I'll hide them first, and then the third white piece is here. So I'll put it in front such that white is facing the front here. Then I hide this piece, and at the same time I bring this one out, and then I match it. Then now I will insert this piece down here. Next I will look for the yellow ones, which red, blue and yellow. Now that this slot is already completely solved, I cannot use this side anymore, so I can only use the left side. And so I'll put this piece on the left and make sure the yellow here is either in front or behind. In this case, it has to be behind. And now I'll rotate it up, and then the yellow edge is right here. Just now I put the yellow color at the back, so now I move this yellow piece at the back as well. So when I restore this, it matches up. So I'll proceed to hide the pair, and then I see this piece here with the last yellow on it. So I put it in front, and then I will match it with the last two, and then insert, and then I'll solve the first phase. For the last layer, I'll be using 2-look PLL, and because you can't twist pieces around on a 3x3x5, OL will not exist. The last layer is just PL only. And before you learn any algs for the last layer, I recommend that you familiarize yourself with two triggers. So on 3x3, you are probably very familiar with the triggers like Sexy Move and Sledgehammer. Similarly on the cuboid, there are two triggers that if you learn them, some of the cuboid algs will be a lot easier. So the first one of these two triggers is the corner drop. And okay, I got the term corner drop from JRcuber's tutorial, and what it does is it takes this corner and drops it down to the bottom. And it goes like this: R2, U, R2, U prime, R2. And the finger trick for this alg is I start with a reverse grip, and then I do my R2, followed by a U, and then R2 again. Then now my right hand is upside down, so I use my left hand, and then I U prime, and then I R2. And the second one of these triggers is the back corner drop. So it's basically the same as the front corner drop, except that it's mirrored. How you do this out is you start with a normal grip, you R2, U prime, R2, U, R2. And now that I've taught the two triggers, you can now proceed to learn the algorithm. So what I have here is an adjacent corner swap. So these two need to be switched, and these two are in the right positions because you can see a pair of headlights. The adjacent corner swap is solved using a T-perm, but it's not the normal 3x3 T-perm. It goes something like this: front corner drop, U prime D, back corner drop, D prime. So for the diagonal corner swap, you will notice that all your corners will be of opposite colors and you have no headlights anywhere. So you can just hold the cuboid in any orientation you like, and then you perform the cuboid Y perm, which goes something like this: R2 D prime, front corner drop, D, back corner drop, U R2. For the edges, you will either have a Z perm, a H perm, or one of the two U perm. You will not get a parity PL in this particular case because this is a completely odd cube. You would have already solved the inner three layers and gotten rid of the parity. This is a U perm, and if you have watched JRcuber or JRcuber's 3x3x5 tutorials, you will be familiar with the opposite edge swap, which goes like this: R2 U2, R2 U2, R2 U2. And so adjacent edge swap goes like this: R2 U, R2 U, R2 U2, R2 U2, front corner drop. So to settle the U perms, you rotate the top layer to make sure the solved side is on the left, and then you look at the front piece. In this case, it is of the opposite color. So you do the opposite edge swap, and immediately after that you do the adjacent edge swap. So opposite edge swap, then adjacent edge swap. If the front piece is non-opposite color, you do the adjacent edge swap first, then you do the opposite edge swap. The next PL you may encounter is the H-perm, which in this case you can just use the normal 3x3 H-perm and it will totally work here. And the last PL that you can get is the Z-perm. So you hold it such that you will switch these two like that and these two like that. And then you do the following algorithm: M2U, M2U, F2, M2, F2, M2. And actually, I learned this particular algorithm by reading the comments of JRcuber's tutorial.